The materials you'll be needing today is some yarn of your choice. I'm using this light blue one so it's easy for you guys to see, and a crochet hook of your choice. I'm using a 4.5mm hook because that's what my yarn says to use, but you can use any type. You'll also need some scissors and a darning needle. The first thing we'll be doing is making a slip knot. So as you see here, I'm going to be wrapping around the yarn around my 2 fingers and then pulling it through around the other end to create a loop. And I'll show you that one once more because it's the basis of starting a lot of projects. So you just wrap it around and pull through the little tail to create a loop. Then you insert your hook and tighten the tails. Next, we're going to start our chain. So to do that, all we're going to do is wrap our hook around the yarn and pull through the previous loop we had that was already on the hook. And we're going to chain our desired length, which is from basically the top of your head to however long you want it to sit on your forehead. So I went around maybe just like eyebrow length, and then you chain a little bit more so you can fold it back up and create that fold around the beanie. I think I chained around 55, I want to guess, but all projects are different because if you use a different type of yarn and use a different type of hook, it may not come out the exact same as mine. Now, once we've chained our desired length, we're going to chain an extra 1 and then start row 1 for our project. And the stitch that we're using here is a half double slip stitch. I think that's what it's called, but essentially it's just a half double crochet, but you use the first stitch out of the 3 to pull through to the other 2. So I'll show you how to do that one. All you have to do is wrap over and put through your first stitch, wrap over and pull through. And instead of pulling through an extra 1 you would there, you just pull through the 2 at the end. If you're struggling with this stitch, pause the video and go back and rewatch the part where I showed you how to do it, and then replay the video when you're ready to continue. Now we're just going to continue the stitch until we get to the end of this first row. Once we've reached the end of our first row, what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1 and flip our project. Now we're going to continue our stitches, but what we're going to do is we're going to do them in the back loop only. So you see how those 2 lines there, we're going to go into the back loop, so the back one, and pull through and continue all our stitches along here. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue into the very end of the row. We're going to chain 1, flip our project, and continue our stitches again in the back loops only. And what we're going to do is we're going to do this until we have reached a amount that can reach around the circumference of your head. It isn't too tight, but isn't too loose. Alright, so this is whatever I've got. I'm not sure how many it is, and anyway, it's going to be different for you because obviously everyone's got a different shaped and sized head. So what I'm going to do here is once I've gotten to the very end of this last stitch, I'm going to finish it off, and I'm going to chain 1 and cut off the tail. Just an amount, I don't know how much I did. I think I did maybe a meter or so, just enough that I definitely have enough to finish off the project. So what I'm going to do after I've chained that one is I'm just going to pull all the long tail through the loop and make sure it's all tight, and that fastens off our project so it won't come undone. Our next step is to line up our last row that we just did with our first row. So what I'm going to do is put our hook through the last stitch that we just did, and using our long tail we're just going to yarn over and pull through to create just like a loop on our hook. And now what I'm going to do is put the hook through the stitch that on the first row, and I'm going to do a slip stitch. So a slip stitch is just you yarn over and pull through all the stitches. And I'm just going to keep doing this all the way along until we get to the very end. Now that we're at the end of our project, what we're going to do is just fasten off. But as you can see, we've just kind of created a tube as the basis for our beanie. So what we're going to do is just going to fasten off, which is just you chain and pull through and then tighten it. And now what we're going to do is flip it inside out. So the seam that we just did can't be visible from the outside of the beanie, as you can see. So what I've done here is just attach my darning needle to the end of the yarn. And what I'm going to do now is weave in and out of these little stitches here that you can see, and do this all around until I get back to the very beginning. And this is what creates like the round part at the top, so it fits your head actually rather than just being a massive tube. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tighten this up to create the dome at the top. And it is quite a struggle. This part, I'm pretty sure I did this about a couple of times before I actually got it to work. It can be a bit annoying, but just get it as close as you can. And then afterwards, what you can do is just sew it up in the middle if you don't get it closed all the way, which I definitely did not. What I'm doing here is I'm just sewing up the top of the beanie. As I said, I didn't get it completely how I wanted it to be. So I'm just making sure there are no holes on the outside. And then I'm just going to pull my yarn through into the inside of the beanie so I can fasten it off. And now I'm just finding all the tails that I've left and using my darning needle to weave the tails in. I did all mine into the inside of the beanie, so you can't see any of it from the outside. And there you have it. You've crocheted a simple beanie. There's a lot of other things you can do. There's a lot of other patterns you can follow. I know there was a huge trend for a while with the cat beanie. People sometimes like to make little decorations and sew them onto the beanie. There's a heap of stuff you can do to fully customize it to how you would like it. You can also do different stitches. So I've used the half double slip stitch to give it that knit look. Whereas some people, when they favor time over how it looks, they like to do the half double crochet stitch rather than adding it with the slip stitch. Not to say that the half double crochet one looks bad, I make a heap of those ones, but I definitely prefer the knit look. But having said that, thank you so much for following my tutorial, and I wish you all well in your crochet project making.